This is my vocabulary lesson plan for this week. I chose second grade, and my teacher objective is the teacher will use sentence level context as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase. My GLE is CCSS ELA Literacy L 2.4A. My review, the teacher will ask the students to recall what context clues are used for. My questions will be, why are context clues important? Do you need to read the whole sentence to find the context clues you are looking for? And is using context clues easy for someone to learn what an unfamiliar word is? My overview, my purpose and importance is to prepare students and using context clues to figure out the meaning of unfamiliar words or phrases. For the last week we learned what context clues were used for. Today we are learning how to use sentence level context as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase. And the next week we will learn the meanings of words that are formed by adding prefixes to it. My objective is the learner will use sentence level context as a clue to a meaning of a word or phrase. My motivation, the teacher will introduce the book Duffy the Disney Bear, Mickey's New Friend, to the class. After reading the story, the students will complete activities on unfamiliar words from the book. So this is the book that I chose, and it's on second grade reading level, and this is how I'm going to extend. This is actually the Duffy the Disney Bear, and you can see on the little tag that they have, and on this paws it has the Mickey sign. So I would bring this so the kids can actually see what Duffy looks like. Okay. Alright, Duffy the Disney Bear, Mickey's new friend. Mickey is a sea captain, so naturally he spends a lot of time on the ocean. But sometimes he gets lonely, being away from Minnie so long. Minnie has a seaside workshop where she makes all sorts of crafts. One day she had an idea. She decided to make Mickey a teddy bear to keep him company on his long voyages. As she sewed, she thought about the fun adventures that she and Mickey had had together, and she filled the bear with happy memories and love. When it was time for Mickey to set out on his next trip, Minnie went with him to the pier. She handed him a small duffel bag. When Mickey opened it, he discovered the adorable stuffed bear that Minnie had made him. Mickey was overjoyed. "This is the best going away gift ever," Mickey exclaimed, and he gave Minnie a hug. "You can keep him in your duffel and take him with you wherever you go," she replied. "I will, and I will name him Duffy," Mickey declared. The next day was a busy one. Mickey had a crew of new sailors to train, and he hardly had a moment to rest. But after dinner, Mickey went down into his cabin and began to feel homesick. He missed Minnie, so he picked up Duffy and hugged him tight. As Mickey squeezed the little bear, a magical feeling came over him. All of a sudden, he felt the love that Minnie had sewed into Duffy, and he wasn't homesick anymore. He curled up in his bunk and fell asleep, holding the bear close to his heart. That night, Mickey had a dream. He dreamed that Duffy came alive and spoke to him, and this is what the little bear said. "Mickey, whenever you start to miss home, all you have to do is give me a hug, and the love that Minnie put inside of me will chase away your sadness." In the morning, when Mickey woke up, he looked down at Duffy and smiled. To this day, Mickey still swears that the teddy bear smiled back at him and winked. After that, Mickey and Duffy were inseparable. Together they traveled all over the world and visited many new and exciting places. And, of course, they made lots of friends along the way. They trekked through a jungle, rode a camel across the desert, and tried all different sorts of food. Well, Mickey did anyway. Everywhere they went, Mickey and Duffy took pictures. When Mickey got home, he told Minnie and his friends about all his adventures with Duffy. He told them about the dream he had about Duffy coming to life. Then he showed them all the pictures he had taken, and everyone knew Duffy was one special little bear. It wasn't long before Mickey's friends began asking Minnie if they could have Duffys too. They all wanted travel teddies who would make them feel loved and keep them company during their journeys. At first, it was difficult for Minnie to keep up with all her friends' requests, but she was a very smart mouse, and she quickly transformed her workshop into Duffy Making Central. Once Minnie's friends had Duffys of their own, they set off on trips with their little stuffed sidekicks. Pretty soon they began sending Minnie pictures of themselves posing with their Duffys in locations far and wide. Now that you have your very own Duffy to travel with, you can hug him whenever you feel lonely and take pictures with him to send back to your friends. Where will you and Duffy go next? So at the end, I would ask them if they had a stuffed animal or special possession that they carried with them that would help them feel better when they were feeling lonely or sad. And then also I'd ask them if they took it on special journeys with them, like Duffy went. Okay, for my procedures, the learner will use sentence level context as a clue to a meaning of a word or phrase at 85% accuracy, and that will be remembering. The procedures, the first one, the teacher will explain to the students the word-wise activity. The teacher will go back through the book and point out the words that the students might not know. The teacher will then demonstrate to the students how to use the context clues in the sentence to determine the meaning of the word. The student will write the word, page number, and a brief meaning of the word. So, this is the word-wise activity, and all of the students will have their own, and it's kind of a bookmark that they can use, but it would have their name and then the title of the book. And then I have picked out 4 words that we would identify together. So I chose company, lonely, homesick, and trekked. And I wrote the page number for each. And then on this page, they can actually write the meaning to the word. And this is just like a little short meaning. We'd go back through the book on the page numbers, look up the sentences that the words were used in, and read the sentence so that they can use the context clues to kind of figure out a little short meaning for each word. The second one, the teacher will give the students 3 new words from the story to complete the inside information worksheet on. The teacher will help the students with the definition part and then be asked to provide a sentence using the word. The student will also be asked to give an example of the word. So this is the inside information, and they can actually cut this out, and right here on these dotted lines they'll cut it so it kind of folds over, and they can use it as like a little pocket thing in a notebook. But the 3 words that I chose was inseparable, voyage, and workshop. And I wrote the definition of each right here. And then I would ask the students, once we identify the definition together, reading in the book, I would ask them to write a sentence using the word and then give an example. So let's just take inseparable for example. The definition is unable to be separated or treated separately. So the sentence that I used is the 2 friends were inseparable. So my examples will be either best friends or sisters, brothers, things that you wouldn't want to separate. The third one, the teacher will give each student a word wrap worksheet. I will provide them with the word from the story that they will use to complete the worksheet. I will then go back in the story where the word was and read the sentence that it is used in. I will give the students time to complete the worksheet and then we will check it together. So this is the word wrap, and the word that I chose for them to do is journeys. So we'd go back in the book, read the sentence, and then they would have, what is it? So they'd write the definition, what is it like, non-examples, and then they would use it in a sentence. For my closure, the teacher will play a game with the students on iExcel.com. This game will allow the kids to pick out the meaning of the bold word using context clues. The computer will read the sentence to the students, and then they can choose the meaning that they think is the correct answer. Okay, so here you see the sentence, and we'll let the computer read it.
Beth scalded her foot in the bath because the water was much too hot.
Okay, so it says Beth scalded her foot in the bath because the water was much too hot. So I'd call on a student to come in, and they could choose whatever word they have, burned or warmed, okay? So we're going to choose burned, and it will tell them that they got it right. And we'll do several of those so several students can come up and play the game. For the homework, the learner will complete the worksheet that is given to them by myself. They will have a passage that they will read, and will have to determine the word that best fits in the blank according to the sentence. So this will be sent home for homework. They'll have a passage, they'll read it, and they'll have to use one of the words in the word bank to place in the blank. So they'll have to read the sentence and come up with context clues to help them figure out which word will work best in the blank. For my early finishers, the learner will complete the word mystery worksheet that is provided to them by me. They will have to read the sentence and determine the answer to the highlighted words using context clues in the sentence. So this is what it'll look like, and it'll say, for example, the long hike up to the top of the mountain was extremely grueling. Okay, so they'll choose either loud, tiring, or easy, and grueling would be tiring. So they'll have a few of those, and they'll use the sentence to determine the answer. For my special needs, the students with a reading disability will work with the resource teacher or paraprofessional on what context clues are and how to use them to determine the meaning of the unfamiliar word. And my English language learners will also do the same thing with myself or a paraprofessional. For remediation, later in the day, students who need remediation will be placed in a small group to perform the word-wise activity again with the teacher or paraprofessional. And we just kind of go over it slowly with them, kind of explain the context clues a little bit more, and kind of show them in the sentence the context clues that'll help them figure out the answer. For my enrichment, the learner will complete the context clues worksheet that challenges them to think about the meaning of the word using context clues in the sentence. And this is what it'll look like. The directions is write the meaning of the underlined word using context clues. So they'll actually have to read the sentence themselves, and then using this sentence come up with a small definition. So they'll have to think of their own definition of the word. And that's it for this week. Thanks.